Hey guys, Nuclear Calillo here, or you can call me Nuke for short. I just wanted to hit on something that it's very cyclical in nature. It comes up especially when men and women are discussing dating or intersexual dynamics. Uh, the whole degree thing, the career woman thing, where women, some woman on the internet, maybe on Twitter or X now, posts that she got her doctorate, and then she posted subsequent hate from men on the internet about her achievements and all that stuff, and playing the victim, typical rage bait stuff, and all that stuff. It's not nothing a lot of us haven't seen before, and it's worthy to talk about this, right, in the phenomenon, because in understanding women as a man, it's important that you understand yourself as well. So first off, I have like 5 points here that I want to talk about on why men really don't. It doesn't. Your degrees don't matter to us, and at the same time, they kind of do. And I'll be as objective as possible. I won't. I'll try to explain everything with a lens of objectivity, but also kind of honesty. So the first thing is. When it comes to sexual attraction, we don't care about your degrees. We care about your beauty first. Women do not really talk too much about their degrees on an initial interaction. I've had interactions with women where I would I did a cold approach or approach them, and they look at me funny about like 30 seconds to a minute into the conversation, and they'll be like, "I'm a lawyer," or "I'm a doctor." And those type of women generally are not very fun to talk to and all that stuff, because like no one does that. Like if you talk to a random person, man or woman, and within 30 seconds they're like, "I'm a lawyer or a doctor," out of nowhere or something, trying to tell you like, "Hey, I'm better than you," then they're probably not a fun person to hang out with, and they probably put a lot of stake into into their career, and they don't really have much of a personality outside of that. Um, but when it comes to like dating, hitting on girls, wherever, uh, you care about beauty, and men gotta be honest with themselves. Like, if you a woman that's a career babe and a woman that's not a career babe, if they went to a pool party, you wouldn't be able to differentiate the two. You would find the one that was most attractive, the one you want to talk to the most, if you had the opportunity. So there's that. Number two, degrees, aside from looks, degrees don't really reveal much about a person's character. I would say the more advanced degrees, let's say like a medical doctor or an engineer, reveals a little bit of discipline and all that stuff. But discipline in studying, discipline and taking tests, studying, preparing, or you're very intelligent. But in terms of character that men find useful, I want to say useful, useful is not the right word, but character that would be nice to have in a relationship, like a person that shows up on time for a date, or a person that's considerate, a person that understands men and doesn't dislike men for who they are, and all that stuff. All those character things that make a relationship better, none of that is revealed by the kind of degree you get. You could have a psychology degree and have no understanding of dating and suffer and not be successful with dating as a woman, or you could be a woman that dropped out 3 years into college and have absolutely success with men or get what you want out of men and all that stuff. And men know this. So yeah. Another thing is that in terms of like, we talk about short term, like we care about beauty first. Not that if you say you're a lawyer, we're gonna be intimidated, which is another thing they always bring up. But degrees are expensive. So if I meet a woman and she's 28 and 29 and she's a doctor, I know she's in debt. There's no way she's not in debt. She's probably in a whole bunch of debt. If she's a lawyer, engineer, she's got her master's or PhD, it's a lot of debt. And as you guys know, women pay off their debt much slower than men by a long shot, by like 40 or 50% more. So when you guys date women that put their degrees and their academic accomplishments on their shoulder, you are degree is synonymous with debt. And one of the reasons a lot of us aren't getting married or having kids is the money stuff, right? And the inability to buy a house, inability to pay insurance for a family or our future families, groceries, just the day-to-day bills and all that stuff. So when you date a woman that's bringing more financial liability and more financial problems into your life, that automatically makes it harder to date you and subsequently love you. So that's why men are kind of like, we don't care about degrees. As a matter of fact, it's not even about not having a degree. We would prefer a dumb, unaccomplished woman, right? It's that we want a woman that's more financially stable. And with the rising cost of school and college, having a degree is synonymous with a tough person to be with, because they're going to be, all their money is going to be used to pay their debt. And if you're a man, you're probably going to be paying the mortgage or the rent while she gets to pay down her stuff. If she pays it down intelligently, like, throwing as much money as she can towards her debt. And there's no guarantee that the relationship will work out. So she would have lived, let's say she lives with you, or at least a large part of her life you subsidize, like going out, entertainment, food. She maybe stays with you 3 times or 4 times a week or whatever. Your bills will go up because she's using your rent, or so she's using your electricity, your water, and all that stuff. And and you're going out, you're paying for dinner and drinks and activities and all that stuff, while she gets to throw all of her money into her debt. So if you break up, she's basically went through a very cheap part of her life while you had to foot the bill, and now she gets to go off debt free because you subsidized her. Right? That's an unfair deal for a lot of men. Another thing is your degree doesn't, like, in short term dating. Let's say you just want to hook up with the chick and all that stuff. A degree doesn't really mean anything to us. We will validate it on a date. We will talk about it. Maybe it does make you interesting. Maybe we have the same degree. Maybe we have the same background. Maybe you have a degree in something I've been interested in, right? But for the most part, my experience on dates is that women don't want to talk about work. They don't want to talk about their accomplishments. They want to talk about other things, right? They want stories. They want a little bit of banter, a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of teasing. They want a little bit of astrology. They want a little bit of psychology, pop psychology stuff, therapy, talk, and all that stuff. That's what they really want. When you talk about work, women will tune out. I don't care if their degree is in, theoretical physics. If you start talking about anything scientific or anything like that, it's unsexy. So it's not that we don't find degrees sexy. We don't, right? It's not that we dislike a woman with degrees. It's just that it has so little to do within the first 3 months of a relationship. Besides, hey, it's just you're employed, right? Another thing is that in the dating game, in the relationships between men and women, right, there's this thing that a lot of people have forgotten, is just being likable. Being a likable person. So in order to be a likable person, you need to put yourself in the shoes of others and kind of relate to them as best you can. We can't do it 100% because, I can never be a woman, and women can never be me. But the way it looks like for me is just like, if someone's trying to push or sell me that their accomplishments are so important that I have to acknowledge them to the same level they do, then that's an unlikable person. Man or women, no matter what age or background, when someone says, hey, acknowledge me, validate me, that's not a likable person. That's an insecure person. That's a person that I don't want to be around. It's annoying. I've been around those kind of people, and I've been around people that I acknowledge, hey, you're smarter than me, but that's all they had. All they had was their academic achievement. Were they paid more than me? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But it just didn't seem like an enjoyable thing to talk to them or anything. So right, so that's really what we're getting at here is you're bragging about a standard that most people have already. Like most people have degrees, or at least a lot of people have degrees. So you're like, hey, I have a degree, and you're showing it off and all that stuff, and we're like, okay, cool. I don't know what you like. Congratulations, I guess. You know. So yeah, guys, it's one of those things where essentially we're like no one wants to be forced to appreciate things, right? We just want to appreciate things on our own, right? And honestly, a degree is something that really no one cares about that much. As like ladies, like men don't care about your degrees, not because we dislike you or we are insecure. It's just that it doesn't matter so much in the confines of romance and sex. Now, in terms of like logistics and in a relationship, it would be nice to have a woman that has a job that can contribute because the economy is not that good. A lot of women don't like that either. A lot of women get a degree and all that stuff, but then they also want a retirement plan. So it's like, what's the point of why do I have to appreciate your degree? You're not even going to use it, and I would, what's the point? But all in all, if you are on a date as a man and you do and accolades start coming up, make sure to acknowledge them. Don't say you don't care. Don't be mean, and all that stuff. But at the same time, understand that a woman that like has too much writing on who she is academically is probably not a good time. You don't probably want to spend time with someone that's all they see themselves as. They'll sometimes act like they're better than you. They will treat you. They will look down on you, and all that stuff because that's what their degree is, an excuse to look down on people. Now, I was a reactor operator for the Navy, and it's one of those things where I don't like to brag about it because first off, I wasn't the smartest nuke. I struggled in the program and all that stuff. I was a good operator. I was a very good operator. I'll brag about that. I was a good operator. But for the most part, I struggled in the academic side of being a nuke. But it is one of those elite programs in the Navy where you got to be smart. You got to have some level of intelligence, spatial awareness, problem solving, and entry level math and science knowledge and all that stuff to even start understanding this stuff, right? But for the most part, discovery is better than disclosure, guys. And all humans are like this. Like when women push the "Hey, I want men to acknowledge me for my achievements" thing, it's unattractive because we're being forced to do something we don't. We want to actually enjoy finding things out about people. So when you throw it in our faces and all that, it's kind of very unattractive for both genders. We just want to discover each other at our own pace and be pleasantly surprised by the little tidbits of information we learn about each other. So, yeah, your degrees are cool, I guess. Not all degrees are are the same. Some are harder than others. Some are more prestigious than others, and all that stuff. But realize too that degree is for the person. It's for you. It's not for anyone else. It's for you and your career and all that. Now, there is a lot of guys that say certain careers or certain degrees are toxic or not a good bet for fun and dating or even a relationship. But I say this, right? For dating, it does not matter. I met women that were engineers and good people. I've met women that were engineers and bad people. I've met women that were psychologists and they were fun. I met women that were college dropouts, also great. I've met women with 2 degrees, sweet and feminine, and I've met women with 1 degree and a master's and absolutely hyper feminist, like just not a good time, not a fun person to talk to. So in terms of degrees, don't let the internet or anyone else like talk you out of a good time and try to use a woman's degree as a reason not to engage with them if they're interested, right? Figure it out yourself, figure out what you like, and ultimately focus on what's important in dating, which is the person, not their achievements, right? Their background. Maybe there's something about their ethnicity or race that's interesting. Maybe they have a necklace or a collar, or an armband or some kind of piece of jewelry that catches your eye. Maybe you like her dress, and whatever it is, just stay away from academic achievements because it's boring. It's going to open a can of worms, And honestly, if a woman is very interested in what you do, other than in passing conversation, then she's probably dating to find a guy, any guy that will, fund her lifestyle or retire her or, whatever. So, anyways, guys, that's all I have on this topic. It's not something that we have to like discuss too much. It's pretty cut and dry. Men are men, women are women. You guys know the deal. Like and subscribe to the channel. Helps the channel grow if you guys comment, like, and subscribe and all that. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.